we're going to look at dividing polynomials. So remember, polynomials is an expression that has multiple terms in it. So we're going to look at using long division. So long division is the key. And there's two types of division that you can use. You can use long division, and you can use synthetic division. But we are just going to focus here on long division. And it's called long division is because it's the same as you would do with any regular number when you're doing division. For example, if I have 274 divided by 3, this is long division. I would see, does 3 go into 2? No, so there's nothing in that slot. Does 3 go into 27? Yes, 9 times. 3 times 9 is 27. I subtract the 27 and get 0. I bring the 4 down. Does 3 go into 4? 1 time. 3 times 1 is 3. I subtract, and that's 1. And 1 is my remainder. So this is the same thing as 91 1/3. So we're going to do the same thing with the long division. We're going to add the remainder on to the end if there's a remainder, just like we had here. Now, we could go into decimal places, but you're not going to do decimal places with polynomials. So let's look at the first one. All right, so we've got m squared minus 7m minus 11 divided by m minus 8. So I'm going to take it and write it just like I would any long division problem. So I've got m squared minus 7m minus 11, and then I've got m minus 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how many times m goes into m squared. But remember, we have a binomial here, so we're going to have to use a binomial. We have to get a binomial answer that we can combine. So what do I have to do to m to get m squared? Well, I multiply it by m. m times m is m squared. And remember, this is multiplication. And m times negative 8 is negative 8m. Just like we did over here, you're going to multiply, and then you're going to subtract. So I'm going to subtract here. And m squared minus m squared is going to cancel out. And then I have negative 7m minus negative. That becomes a positive. So negative 7m plus 8m, which is m. So I end up with m, and then I bring down the 11, so m minus 11. Okay, so now we're going to look at the next step. Okay, and I want to see how many times does m go into m. Well, that one should be one of the easier ones that you have. How many times does m go into m? And that's going to be 1 time. So plus 1. So I'm going to multiply 1 times m is m. 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. So then I'm going to look at reducing. So I've got m, or combining. M minus m cancels. Negative 11 minus negative 8 becomes a plus, and that leaves me with negative 3. Now this is my remainder. I've got 3 left over, negative 3 left over. So what I'm going to do with that remainder is I'm going to bring that remainder up to the top, and it's minus, so minus 3 over m minus 8. And that is your final answer. Why do I do this? M minus 8 is what I'm dividing by, and I have negative 3 out of an m minus 8 left over. Just as over here, I had 1 left over out of 3. 1 left over out of 3, negative 3 left over out of m minus 8. So that's how you do long division. So let's do another one. Let's look at number 6. And for number 6, I'm going to rewrite it. But I've got to be careful here. When you do division, you need to have placeholders. I don't have an a term here. If I want to do long division, I have to create a placeholder. So I'm going to have a squared plus 0a, that's my placeholder, minus 28. Same value, I just have a placeholder in there for the a, 0. Okay? then divided by a minus 5. So let's follow the same process. I'm going to multiply a. How do I get from a to a squared? Well, I multiply by a. Okay, I'm trying to get this and this to match up. So a times a is a squared. A times negative 5 is negative 5a. And again, I'm subtracting these. Okay, there's a subtraction. The a squareds will cancel, a squared minus a squared. Then I've got 0a minus negative 5a. That becomes positive, so the 5a is still there. And I'm going to bring the minus 28 down. So now I want to see how many times does a go into 5a? Well, 5 times. I have to multiply a by 5 to get 5a. So that becomes 5a, and then 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. So then I'm going to complete my final subtraction here. So 5a minus 5a will cancel. Negative 28 minus a negative 25, that's plus positive. So negative 28 plus 25 is negative 3. So once again, that's our remainder. Your remainder is not always going to be negative 3. It just happened to be in these two examples. So I'm going to take the remainder, and I'm going to move it up top, minus 3 over a minus 5. There you go. And that's your final answer. Now, don't get confused by the numbering here. I have number 1 and number 6 and number 9 because this is coming off of one of our assignments called dividing polynomials. So if you're not a student in my class, that's why the numbers are skipping. But students in my class, this is from the dividing polynomials assignment. So now let's do number 9. Okay, number 9. So for number 9, I don't need to add any placeholders. Everything's there. So I'm going to have 2x squared minus 17x minus 38 divided by 2x plus 3. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to find out how many times does 2x go into 2x squared. Well, x times, because I have to multiply 2x times x to get 2x squared. So x times 2x is 2x squared. X times 3 is 3x. And then I'm going to subtract that. So my next step is going to be cancel out the 2x squareds. And then I've got negative 17x minus positive 3x. That'll give me negative 20x. And I bring down the negative 38. After I've done this, I want to see how many times 2x goes into negative 20x. And that's going to be negative 10 times. I have to multiply 2x times negative 10 to get negative 20x. Negative 10 times 3 is negative 30. And we'll do our last subtraction. So I've got the 20x's will cancel. Then I've got negative 38 minus negative 30. So that's going to be plus 30. So you're going to get negative 8, which is your remainder. And so we're going to take the remainder and move it up top. And it's a negative, so minus 8 out of 2x plus 3. Okay. So those are our first 3 examples. And then we've got one more. We're going to do number 18 simply because it's got more terms. So let's go ahead and write number 18. Number 18, it'll be negative 5k, it'll be negative 5k squared. But you have to order these properly. K cubed has to come first, so the k cubed is going to go in front. You have to have them in descending order. So then plus 8k plus 4, and that is going to be divided by negative 1 plus k. I really didn't need to put the parentheses there. Okay, so let's start it. Again, you have to have them, the degreed terms, in descending order. Cubed, squared, first power, constant. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do. How many times does negative 1 go into k? But when you look at this, that's not really what we want. We have to do the same thing with this one, right? Y'all notice that? So I'm going to rewrite this as k minus 1. Everything has to be in descending order. you have to put it in descending order or else you're not going to be able to complete the calculations properly. So now everything is set. So how many times does k go into k cubed? Well, k squared. K squared times k is k cubed. K squared times 1 is negative k squared. So I'm going to subtract those. These cancel. I've got negative 5k squared minus negative k squared, which is plus. So I end up getting negative 4k squared plus 8k. So the next one is going to be to bring the, figure out how many times k goes into negative 4k squared. Well, to get the k squared aspect, I need a k, and to get negative 4, I need negative 4. So negative 4k. So I've got negative 4k squared, and then negative 4k times negative 1 is positive 4k. Notice how they all line up too. The k is over the k squared is over the k squared. It should always be like that in your long division. So I'm going to take my next step, and these are going to cancel. I have 8k minus 4k, so it'll be 4k. The 4 comes down, so I've got 4k plus 4. And my last step, how many times does k go into 4k? And that's going to be plus 4. So I have 4k, and then 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. And when I work it out, they're going to cancel. These will cancel, and then 4 minus negative 4 becomes plus, which is 8. That is your remainder. So you have to take your remainder and put it on the end. So it's a positive 8, so plus 8 over k minus 1. And that is how you do long division with polynomials.